The Manufacturers Cup is a series on Gran Turismo 7 where people choose a manufacturer to race for over 6 rounds. There are 3 leagues in the qualifiers which are determined by players' Gran Turismo 7 Sport Mode driver rating. If you guys want to know the schedule for the next 6 rounds, it is on screen now for you to take a look at, so pause the video and feel free to read them. Now the introduction is out the way, let me get down to business. We have indeed signed with Ferrari for this year's qualifiers. Each manufacturer will give the player 2 cars to drive for them, a GT3 car and a GT4 car, or in Gran Turismo terms, GR3 and GR4. Depending upon what league you're in will decide what category of car you will drive. Round 1 will take place at the Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. You have multiple time slots which you can race in throughout the day and you can take part in multiple races. But it will only take your last race results, so be careful, because if you finish on the podium in one race, then come 5th in the race after, it will take your last race result. Right then guys, before we get into the race, I'm going to show you guys how I practice for a race. Now if I'm going to a track where I have very little experience and I don't know much about it, the first thing I'll do is go to the global rankings and look for a replay. So replays are as follows. As you can see on the right hand side of the screen, the top 2 times they don't have a replay available, but third place does, so it's the third fastest time that I'm able to view and get an idea for how the track's going to work, the layout of the track and all the braking points. Once you have the time, all you do is click on it, go down and click play replay. Now guys, we are in the fastest lap replay. What I've done is I've recorded it to my computer so that I can have it on my second monitor. Now some of you guys don't have that option, so you'll probably have to just keep coming back and making mental notes, then reloading up the whole replay, which can be quite a long-winded process. Some notes that I do here then is I changed the camera target to the HUD because it's what I race in, so I want to see the lap from the point of view I'm going to see it in. And then I'd like to put on all the race details, which shows me he's accelerating, he's braking, his steering input, and then what kind of assists and gears he's using for the corners. And then the last thing that we look for when we're going around the lap, I'm going to be looking for his braking points and what gears he's going into and coming out of corners in, as they can add some rotation and some traction to the corners. So what I'll do here then is I'll just quickly go through the lap. Looking for where he's braking, so I'm going to be knowing the braking point's going to come up here. So he's braking just before the grass. He's about 50% braking, and then he's going around the corner, coasting it back onto the accelerator. And then what I'm doing now is I'm looking for his next braking point. So he's starting to brake just at the start of that curb, and then he goes down to second, comes out in third, doesn't put on the accelerator till he's over that inside curb. And then all it is full throttle down here from what I can see. And then we're looking now for his next braking point. So he starts just before or just on this billboard here on the right. He goes to about 100% and trails off. You want to be careful when getting onto this curb, because if you take too much of this curb, it is a 0.5 second time penalty, which will drastically hurt your lap later down the line. So then he's just going through then. And now we're looking for the next brake point of the corners coming up. So he starts just before this white line. So on the right hand side there was the grass verge, and then you had where the tarmac starts. You can see briefly on the right hand side of the screen. That's where he's braking. He's put in 100% power, then trailing off to 50. He's going down first gear for the rotation, then third on corner exit. Here he's going into first gear for the rotation. He's going into second for corner exit, and then going straight up towards the hill. You want to be careful then, because now is where all your penalties start taking effect. As you can see here, the penalty line, it is a long straight, so you're going to lose a lot of time if you get hit with a penalty here. Regardless of what it is, 0.5, 1 second, 3 seconds, it is all going to hurt. So you want to make sure that you don't hit that. Now we're looking for the final, well, for this final, not the final, for this braking point. He's braking on that 100 board, that white line there, the first dotted white line. He's going all the way to full power on his braking. First gear, rotating the car in. Then he's going to second gear to get the traction out of the corner. Then he's letting off the throttle a little bit going up the hill. And then he's making sure the car is straight forward, puts full power down, and then he goes all the way flat out to the final corner. Yeah, no lift whatsoever. So that's basically all I'm looking for on a lap, is all of his braking inputs, his gears that he's using, and so on. Hopefully this is just helped you guys out. It's just what I do to practice. There may be other better methods, but I just wanted to show you how to prepare for a race. Another thing that you need to practice as well is your pit entries and pit exits, as if you cross over the hard yellow line here, you will get a 3-second penalty. So what you want to do is quite a hard one, is make sure you don't go over this line here. As you see I do here, and it will give me a 3-second penalty when I come out the other side of the pits. Now it is quite a hard pit line to judge because it's coming over a hill, you can't see, you don't have a lot of time to react, so you just have to be prepared to know where it is. So by practicing this, you'll be good. Here I'm just showing you where the penalty line is, as a 3-second penalty from getting the pit exit and the pit entry wrong can damage your race. As you see, you usually lose a lot of speed. This is on a straight. Here again, I managed to get it just by the skin of my teeth before that hard yellow line starts. We're over into the pit line, so we're good. Here we go through. I'm just throwing this in here as you guys, not many people think to practice this, so I'm just letting you guys know that before you get into your races, practice this. Here we have it then, round 1 of the World Series 2026 online qualifiers at the Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. We're here for a 5-minute qualifier and a 22-lap race. Now, our strategy all depends on where we qualify. If we qualify towards the start of the grid, we're going to go with the softs. We're going to try and run away from the pack. But if we start at the back or the middle of the pack, we're going to go to mediums. Just because I feel like I don't want to waste the soft potential getting caught up in traffic. So we'll just try our best with the mediums and see how it goes. So we're going to jump straight into qualifying and show you guys how it went down. Right, and starting off our first lap, we're coming down now into the first straight of the lap. We are going to look for the break point here. We're going to brake at the braking point, make it decent turning, catch a little bit of the inside curb, which isn't too good. Unsettled the car a little bit. Coming down here, completely missed the braking point and take not as much of the curb as we would have liked, which unsettled us then coming down to these set of turns here. Taking a bit too much of the curb there, unsettling the car. So it's a bit of a sloppy first start to the lap. But then we get back onto the power here, coming up, down, looking for the grey piece of road on the right-hand side for our braking point here. Braking here, turning the car in, second gear, third gear to get some more power and traction out of the corner. Then again, missing the corner again, not ideal. Back on the power early though, heading up towards the penalty straight. I don't actually know any of the corners names or anything for this track. It's a track that I don't really race a lot here. So we're coming down now into the last sector here. Looking for the brake part on the dotted white line here. Braking all the way to 100%. Turning the car in. Again, taking a bit too much here and then binning it into the wall. Getting them tyres, left side tyres, stuck over the curb into the little ditch, which unsettled the car and then spun us out, which is now going to compromise our next lap. So we're looking in a very bad position here. Starting off the next lap here then, we've lost a lot of momentum due to the spin out on the corner previously. So we're looking here now just to try and set a banker lap to try and get it in with a chance of moving into the field a little bit, so we're not dead last. Again here, we managed to take a little bit too much this time rather than too little. Again, unsettling the car, having to overslow the car. And we're coming down here, we managed to make a little bit of a better line through there. Again, getting on the brakes good here, carrying enough speed here. Being careful not to get a penalty going too far over the curb. And then we're coming down looking for our braking point where the road starts on the right side here. Braking down, getting into second for the rotation, putting it back up to third for a bit more power. And then just getting it stopped in time, missing the corner a little bit but not too much, getting early on the power and going again. We are making a little bit of a better lap guide this time round, but it was just track time. Just a little bit unfortunate that the start of the lap was so scuffed after being at the end of the last lap. Again, we're looking now, a little bit of traffic in front of us, so I was a little bit worried here. So we're braking on the dotted line here, full braking, bringing it down to first gear for the rotation, second gear for the traction, letting off the throttle, not making the same mistake as the last lap. Car's getting in the way here a little bit, but didn't slow us down. Kept my foot pinned to the floor, was able to put in a bank lap, putting us into the 8th position. Now I'd like to be able to lie to you and say that everything was going to be okay, but it's not. So as you can see here, we're going up, we're up on our time by a second, and we're going into the last braking zone, and as you can see, we get on the power a little too early, and we absolutely bin it into the wall, deciding we can't really put another lap in. Let's exit here. Let's make sure that we get the strategy down for the race. So we're going to go over to the car settings, and then we're going to put on the medium tyres as we are starting 11th for our first race. 3 seconds till the race is underway then, and we are away. So we're starting in 11th position. We're looking to try and get through the field as fast as we can. We're on the medium tyres. We don't know what tyres anyone around us is on. They could be on softs, they could also be on mediums. So it's just important that we settle down and focus into the race as quickly as we can, as we have the French lad in front going a little bit wide on T1. We have to just let off a little bit here, which compromises our alignment here because we're too focused on the car in front of us. So we didn't get as good a line as we was expecting for, as we have to back out a little bit as we're getting side by side. You don't want to be side by side here because it's going to expose that. So it all kicks off in front of us. We're going here, we've got to be careful now not to get collected or hit as the guy gets taken. I don't know if that was my fault. I don't know if I pushed him over or if that was a dirty move, but I know that the guy coming back on the track hit him and it took him out. So let me know in the comments down below if I had something to do with that. I feel like I pushed him out a little bit, but I don't really feel like I had anywhere to go myself. Anyway, first lap we're up 4 places from 11th to 7th. We're chasing these boys down here who seem to be on the quicker compound tyre of us. But as we say that, we start to pull towards them. Maybe it's because we're in the slipstream of the car ahead. The slipstream's quite important in these GT3 cars. As we just look for our braking line here, but just misjudge it and then go a little bit deep. I think in this race, nerves are getting the best of me, as I was like, I know this is going towards YouTube. I'm going to put my first video of the year up, my first video sim racing. So feel free to annihilate me in the comments down below as we come to conclude our first lap there. Going on to the second lap now, we can see that the mess up, the boys start to pull away from us. So yeah, bit of a sloppy first lap, but we can try and regain on it. We are currently catching on the car in front of us, Diogo in the Porsche, as we finally managed to make it through this sector here, our best yet in the race. We haven't been able to manage that since qualifying. Obviously coming down to where all the carnage kicked off earlier. Got a better line through here, just hitting that curb there nicely. And then managed to get the car slowed down with Diogo in front having a little bit of a wobble. You can hear our back end starting to come out there as well. So we've got to be a little bit careful with that. And we've got to be careful with the way we word things, because that was a bit sus. Breaking in, getting the car nice turned in on the power again. As unfortunately here we just hit the curb, back end wasn't settled, we put too much power on, end up spinning. Unfortunately, luckily enough we're ghosted, so we're just able to reverse back out into line, affect nobody and get going again. Luckily we're only down in, I think we've go down to 9th place here. So it wasn't too bad. It could have been a lot worse. It already in my head I'm a little bit down because I've just lost concentration and I've made a little mistake that could have cost me a podium, could cost me first place as well. So it's just like, yeah, you got to get on with it now. You're here. It's one of them. What I'll always say to everybody is don't give up. You never know where you're going to end. You could end up on a podium. You could end up out of the race completely, but never give up. So yeah, we're here now. We're just chasing down our fellow Ferrari in Olympia, the Italian ahead, as we come on to our 6th lap here now. We managed to get a nice little T1 turn in there, managed to slow the car down, get onto the pound nicely, see if we can take this sector as good as we... Yep, a lot better. A little bit of a bounce and settles the car. It's the only thing with this track is the curbs are so raised, you can lose the car anywhere. As you can hear, the back end fighting for its life there. Again, this is where a lot of time can be made up on, because it's how brave people want to be towards getting that penalty. So I feel like I lost a little bit of time going around these areas just as we're trying to make up for the mistake. We are catching the car ahead. I feel like I definitely have the pace over these two as the white car goes wide there. I think, again, another fellow Ferrari. So Ferrari seeming to be the popular choice. Again, a fellow Brit as well. Just as we come down here then. So we are catching slowly. The slipstream's going to be helping us a lot here coming down to the final sector. We are catching on the leader a little bit. It's not anything great, but just as we managed to nearly go into the back of Olympia in front of us there, get the car nice slowed down, managed to get on the power, keep it nice and close to him, hopefully make an opportunist overtake at the end of the straight or maybe later on in the lap. But you're just reeling him in slowly as we go on to lap 7 here. And he goes a little bit onto the dirt there, losing it. So it invites us up to go down the side of the car, managing to stop the car, aware that he's there. So we're just, trying to give him space, but he wants to try drive us off circuit. I even let off the accelerator, and there was nowhere I could go. If I would have went onto the grass, I would have been spun out, and we would have lost loads of places. But in racing, that happens, unfortunately. He just didn't want to give us the space, and yeah, there's not much more I can do from that. As we're going down here, always in the back of my mind, I messed up here previously, so I was always a little bit careful here, trying to get back on that power, as I didn't want to mess up again, and we was a little bit worried of having dirty tyres then going off previously, so as that can come into play. I feel now a lot of the soft runners, their tyres are starting to drop off, and our mediums are starting to come into play. But as you can see, the gap between the leaders opened up. It was 19 seconds, and now it's on to 20. So we are losing time slowly as we just go here into the final sector. It's always scary here as he has a little bit of a moment in front of us, Skino, with his cars going sideways, with P6 actually coming into pits to get rid of their softs, so they maybe had a bad time on them, and they just wanted to get rid of them. Managing to get it down nicely. Skino taking a bit of the curb there. It can be unsettling on the car, going quite wide into here. Doesn't give him quite the exit he's looking for. And again, he's not great on controlling the car. He's always a bit back end happy. As I just mess up here because I'm too focused on the car in front. That's the only thing with me, is I focus too much on what the car in front of me is doing rather than what I'm doing. I feel once I get that into my head, I might be in a better mind frame for racing. But we do reel the gap down a little bit. I mean, it's back into 19 seconds, but not by much on the leader. Just as Skino goes wide there. We're looking to try and make a move down this long straight here now, because we know that the slipstream will come into play. And as you can see there now, we are starting to reel him in. We've just been 3 tenths ahead. I got to admit, I do like this car. Probably shouldn't have put the Max Verstappen livery on it, because I'm going to get judged by everybody watching this video. But as you see, P2 now just coming to the pits. We managed to actually execute this nicely for a change, this first bit. And then Skino just all over the grass, wobbling all over the place. He's not really had... He's had a worse time in that sector than we have, picking up a 0.5 second penalty as well. We had to let off. I think he lets us through there, thankfully, so we didn't have to fight for an overtake or lose too much time. Probably lost a little bit of time behind him going up the hill towards the final straight, but it is what it is. Now we're up into 4th position, bearing in mind that a few people have pitted in front of us, so we have got to still make our pit as well. But all that we can ask for at the moment is just to keep our head down, keep that pace going, and try and put our times, as you can see, 121, 121, 120. So we're getting slightly better, slightly worse each lap. So it's just trying to find a rhythm, that consistency. If you're not consistent, you're not going to find the lap times. Just as I think Skino there was trying to get back at us again. Pretty close when you're looking at the radar. But we just managed to get the traction down and pull away from there. He's going to serve a 0.5 second time penalty, so he's not going to be as much of a threat to us as we would have thought he would have been, which then gives the chance to the Danish lads behind to overtake him. Putting him up into 5th as we go back down to our worst sector of the track. Managing to actually get the car where we want it to be. A little bit of early on the power, putting the back end out as P3 then goes into pits, Diogo. So he's going to be bombarded with clips here now as people start making the pits. As we've got P2 coming in for the pits for his final pit, going off the softs, then going on to the mediums. Then we got the next lap 11 or lap 12. We've got the lad in front going off the softs onto mediums as well. I'm now in my head starting to think, okay, everybody's done their pits. I need to start getting rid of mine. As we look at our tyres, the front lefts and rear lefts getting to be a bit worn. So we're going to come in for the pits. So luckily we've done all the practice earlier for our pit stop. So hopefully we ace this here. And we do. We take extra caution there not to get a penalty, as we've already had a spin and a penalty in this race so far. We didn't want any more. So just taking it a bit on the side of caution. It's got to go into the mandatory soft tyres here. Get rid of our mediums. So we were slow through the starting laps on this race. So we're just going to go through now on the softs. And hopefully we can pick up the pace and we can start setting some decent times. After the pit stop then, we come out in 6th position, just behind Diogo in the Porsche. Now we've really got to start nailing our lap times. We've got to put our head down. We're on the better compound tyre now that everybody else has been on. It's time to see if we can make dent into the pack. They're all going to be on racing mediums. Yeah, they'll be slower than us for the first half, but on the back end they'll be faster than us, so our tyres start to drop off. Just as unfortunately there, I knew that corner was a bit wide. We picked up a penalty. Not a great time to be picking up that penalty as we're trying to chase down the podium positions here, but it's only a 0.5 second penalty. there is better places we can get a penalty, but if we're going to get a penalty, we knew it would be there. But there's no any good time to get a penalty. It's just unfortunate the place that we have to serve it is on this long straight here, which seems to be on a lot of tracks on Gran Turismo, but this is literally right in the middle of it, so or the start of it, so it's quite humbling. But never mind, put that to the back of our minds. We're going to lap 16 here. I'm just thinking, yeah, head down, do what we can, and try and reel in Diogo here. So he gets a bit squirrely there, goes up on the curb. We're able to close down that gap a lot more than it has been, so brought it down, just trying to nail each corner as best we can. I think that's the best we've took that corner all race. We're just going to keep going down here. We take a good line in, a little bit of a lift, just we go up here, managing to get the car slowed down nicely, back onto the power, being careful not to pick up another penalty, and there we go, sitting the best sector of the race so far. Don't know if it'll be good enough for the fastest lap, but I'll take that best sector. Just here on the A side of caution, as earlier we crashed here, so we just want to keep it calm and do what we can. As we're behind in the slipstream's going to start to come into effect now, as we close that gap down ever more. So we go for the move on him. No better time than to do it. Fortunately, he's going to have the inside line for the next corner, so we've got to be careful of that. So we brake on our normal line. He doesn't brake it enough, goes off into the gravel. We managed to get that done. He doesn't rejoin in a bad manner. So yeah, we just check back to see where he is. Good. Nice little overtake there for the video. And now we come up behind as GT Boydie goes in for a pit on lap 17 there, getting rid of his medium. So he really did push the life out of them, but in doing so, don't think that was a wise move. But it depends on how he runs on his softs and how he can look after them. But we're coming up here now, just behind the back marker, coming down into one of the better sectors for us, I suppose. I say that we've been having a bad time here. I think everybody has a bad time here. It's just getting the consistency now, braking at that billboard, getting the car turned. Weirdly, the back marker moves off the racing line. I don't know if he knew that he was ghosted, but fair play to him. Didn't need to, but yeah, he wasn't selfish. Going on to lap 19 now, going on to lap 20. Just come towards the end of lap 19, going to lap 20. We're now chasing down P3, which is the Finnish lad. And I didn't think we'd be here after that spin, but we managed to put in some lap times. And we're here. A podium's on the card. We can do it. We just got to be consistent. Managed to absolutely nail that corner there. We are getting better and better as the laps go by. Get a little bit more consistent with that, a bit more confident. And then as I say that, take a wider line through here. So we've got to be careful now because that left-hand side tyres are a bit dirty. So anything can happen here now. We've got to be just a little bit careful, make sure that dirt's off them tyres. As we're still, don't forget, we're chasing down podium positions. We want that podium. It'd be such a good result to get from what we had in qualifying, and it would be our best result online, especially to do it in the online qualifiers as well. So we're here, we are closing the gap down now. I think we'll start to get into his slip eventually. I think it's got to be a second or under. I'm not too sure how the slip works on here, but if we just have better sectors than him, we'll be fine. So again, just looking for our braking point. I think we're a little bit conservative, braked a little bit early there. I think at this point in my mind, I'm like, I still have to be a little bit cautious. Yeah, a podium would be nice, but I don't want to bin it and completely give the result away. So it'd be nice to at least finish fourth, even if we don't make the podium. It would be nice not to absolutely bin it and then end up at the back of the pack. I think it was the last race of the night as well, this was, so it was a 9 o'clock entry time. And then we have a bit of a moment here. We're absolutely sent it off the track, but luckily no major spin. Tyres definitely dirty, but we aren't in a position where we can gain on that. So we were a little bit upset from that. We were just like, at least we'll have fourth. And then in the distance we see third place go off into gravel. We move over a lot slightly because he didn't ghost, so we nearly spun out ourselves. But now I'm getting a little bit nervous now. Now the pressure's on. Like, I'm feeling it, my hands are sweating. Look, I'm in a podium position. I didn't see this coming. I qualified P11. I've got to hold on for like 2 laps now, or 1.5 laps, and then we'll finish on the podium for our first ever qualifiers. I was really excited at this point, and yeah, pressure was getting to me. I started to make a little bit of mistakes. I was constantly watching that time, and I weren't focusing on what I was doing. I was getting a little bit nervous. Just watching it back now, my hands are getting sweaty. But we've just got to ride it home safely. Tyres are still in good condition really for softs. They're not terrible. They're a little bit worn, but they're not slipping in corners, they're not slipping out of corners, so we're fine for now. As the gap there is 1.6, we just keep going through it as we go on to the final lap now. This is where it's do or don't. So we're going into the corner here. A bit of a sloppy T1 for us. It's not the best that we could have done, but we're just slowly inviting pressure onto us. Managed to get the car, take a bit more curb than we like. As you can see, the pressure is starting to get to me now. We've still got a 1.5 second gap, but he starts to close that down. He has a bit of a better turn there. As we go up here, being careful not to pick up a penalty, being extra cautious, not even using any of the curb like we normally do. I just didn't want to risk it. I knew I could keep him behind me. And then we just go around here. Nice and easy. It's quite nice to watch his back. A bit cautious here again. As we spun out here earlier, we took a bit of the curb there. I was worried about the car and setup, so I was a bit late back onto the power. As we go up the hill, I'm thinking, yeah, I can do this last sector. He's 1.4 seconds behind. I'm like, we've got this. We've got a podium at least. So he's come down here. I'm just on the side of caution again. I've got enough of a gap. He can't lunge it on me. He can't dive bomb it. If he does, he's going to take me and him out. So yeah, just managed to put it in nicely and get up the hill. No moments, no palaver. And then this is where it started to feel good. It started to sink in now. I've just hit a podium. And it's I don't really play a lot of GT Sport online, so to actually get a podium, I was pretty gassed about. We were only 9 seconds behind P2 and 20 off the leader, so 11 seconds, sorry, behind the P2. So yeah, it was a good race, and it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. Just to summarise today's video then, guys, here are the results after round 1 in the World Series 2026 online qualifiers for the Manufacturers Cup. As you can see on the screen, we are 2nd in the city of Birmingham, we are 3rd in the West Midlands region, and in our manufacturer Ferrari we're 529th, and last but not least, our regional ranking is 2378th in Europe, Middle East and Africa. In the top right corner you can see we are in League GT2, so we are in the middle league, and that's based off of our driver rating. Appreciate everybody for watching the video, and we'll catch you in the next one.